Everyone. Hope you're doing well. Having an okay day today. Can't complain. I was all set to talk about a completely different topic today on my video. Usually, when I'm thinking about what I want to talk about, I get my inspiration when I'm in the shower. Whenever I'm in the shower, I'm always thinking of things I want to talk to you guys about, and I had a totally different thing planned to talk about. But like I said, I want my video to be organic. So I decided to just scrap that and go with a topic that had been on my mind regarding a conversation I was having with someone. And it is all about dating outside of your race. Um, I don't even know where to begin with it because I have so many thoughts about it. Um, I am, of course, pro dating outside of your race. If it weren't for dating outside of your race, I wouldn't be here. I should explain that my father is black and there's some Native American, and he is a very wonderful man, very proud black man. He's a preacher and he's actually running for president. I'm very proud of him. He is a preacher, and his slogan is "Make America Pray Again." He lives in Florida, and he's going around to stores and people and getting signatures. And I'm so proud of him. He is so funny. He told me he's going to make me his Speaker of the House because I'm so well spoken, which I think is absolutely adorable. But he is black, and my mother, who's no longer with us, she was on her father's side was right from Germany, and my grandmother's side was French Canadian, Polish, and uh, English, I believe. I'm not sure. So I am the product of interracial dating, interracial marriage, actually. And so it's not something that's uncommon to me. Every time I look in the mirror, I see I'm a product of that. I can remember when I was a little kid, I used to go up to couples that I would see if I saw like a black and a white person dating. I used to go up to them and I would say, if you have a baby, they're going to look just like me. And my mom would always have to get me and tell me, stop bothering them. You're going to make them break up, Kelly. If they end up with a kid like you, they're going to break up for sure. She was just joking, of course. But so it's something that I'm very familiar with. And where I grew up in a predominantly Italian area and predominantly white. There was only one other kid that grew up in my neighborhood that was mixed like us. And he was younger. I actually babysat him. And other than that, that was pretty much my interactions. I didn't grow up with my father. They separated when I was little, but my father was always a constant in my life, would always come and visit. Like I told you before, I have eight other half siblings, and they have a wonderful mother she's a wonderful woman, and she's black as well. So my half siblings are black, and my brother and myself are mixed. And I have always, in my adult life, dated white people, white men. My relationship I've been in for the last 18 years is with Michael, who is white. He is German and Austrian, so very, very white. And on his father's side, 100% Irish. So he is a very handsome man, which I want to get him on video to show you guys, but he hates being photographed and on video. So unless I can sneak him on someday, it's going to take a long time before I can get him on there. But rest assured, he's very handsome and he's a very nice guy. What makes him handsome and beautiful is his heart and his soul. So, at any rate, I can remember being in, I want to say sixth or seventh grade, and one of my first boyfriends was a boy that I went to school with, and he was black. And we went on this wonderful date. We went to the movies, and my mother came along, and she was a couple aisles behind us. And I remember being very frightened to even hold hands with him because my mother was right behind us. So that was very awkward. And then as a teenager, I had crushes on rock stars, and John Bon Jovi, of course, is my love. And so I was always drawn to more long hair and the rock and roll look. And I, in my adult life, have always had long term relationships, and they've always been with men who happen to be white. And I can remember growing up and having a boy that I was very close with, that we were very good friends, and we had flirted with each other all the time. And unbeknownst to me, he had developed feelings for me. And I didn't quite feel romantically for him, but we were very, very close. And I'm sure had he asked me out, I would have been more than likely accepted. But I remember one day we were having a conversation, we were taking a walk, and he said to me, you know, I really want to ask you out, but I asked my parents about it, and they told me that I couldn't go out with you because you're black. And I can remember being stumped because at first I wasn't even aware that he liked me that way. I mean, he would always pick with me in that. And, you know, my mother had always told me when boys pick with you, that means they like you. And I always told her, well, that means that he must be in love with me because he would just pick with me all the time. But we had a really good rapport. We would always get in trouble together. So we spent a lot of time outside of classrooms together in like kind of like detention in grade school. So we hit it off. We were kind of like goofballs and stuff. So he was definitely someone that I cared greatly for. But I was more in a friend mode than a dating mode. But I can remember being very hurt when he told me what he told me. And he seemed really hurt about it. Hurt enough, in fact, that he decided that he wanted to tell me about it. And he apologized. And I can remember just shrugging it off. And then I can remember at the end of our walk, me telling him, well, I think your parents are stupid. You know, they don't even know me. But, you know, when you're a kid, you listen to your parents. And unfortunately, his parents were narrow-minded or had their feelings, whichever way they were. He was an Italian boy, very Italian. And for whatever reason, they just felt it was not going to happen, and it never did. And I never told him that it really hurt me, but I'm sure he knew. And it hurt him too. We still remained friends, but nothing ever became of that. And we were young, so it's not like we would have ever married or anything like that. But it's something that always stuck with me. And, you know, it's one thing to meet a person and get to know them and decide you don't like them, but to be judged before someone even gets a chance to know you, that's a whole different story. And unless you have experienced racism or prejudice, it's something you can guess about, but it's something that you'll never understand. Now, I don't want to make my channel race bashing or make anyone feel alienated. It's not something that I'm being oversensitive about. It's my truth, and my channel is my truth. It's not something I make up. It's not something I thought about or maybe had a hunch about. I knew it was something that was a fact. And in fact, I can remember about, a few years back, Mike and I had went for a ride, and we went to the reservation to go and get cigarettes and gas. And this was a while back. And I was inside with him, and we were talking, and there were people in there. And I was talking to the girl behind the counter, and she was really nice, and we were just, just chit chatting. And I left and went on my way. So I came back a couple weeks later, and I happened to be by myself, or Mike was with me, but he stayed in the car. And the girl behind the register had told me, I just wanted to tell you I almost got fired when you were here last time. And I looked at her puzzled and I said, why? What happened? And she said, there was this older woman that was in line behind you guys. And she had made a comment when you guys left saying that she couldn't believe that one of her people would lower themselves to date someone like you. And she said that she was so upset because her sister has a mixed child that she went off on the older lady. And her manager had to calm her down, and she had to realize she didn't want to lose her job. But she said, I just wanted to let you know you're so sweet, and I wanted to stick up for you so bad, and I did the best I could, but I didn't want to lose my job. And I said, oh, honey, don't worry about that. It's not like I've never heard it before, and I certainly don't want to see you lose your job over anything like that. And I made a joke about it, and I said, the funny thing is, if that woman got the chance to know us, she would see that he's more of the jerk and I'm the nice one. But there again, it was that preconceived notion. And I'm here to tell you, there is no difference. I know you think that there is. I know that people are told that there's differences and that this person shouldn't date this person and this person's better than the other person. It's wrong. I had a conversation with a friend of mine years ago, and she had told me that if she were to date out of her race, that her brothers would disown her. And that's sad because, as much as I love my brother, I'm certainly not going to take his advice for dating, and he certainly wouldn't take my advice for dating. And how is that love? And my message to you would be, don't limit yourself. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. Some people like tall people. Some people like shorter people. Some people like heavier people. Some people like thinner people. Some people like hairy men. Some people like clean-shaven men. Or, women with long hair or short hair. There's nothing wrong with having a preference. But why on earth would you limit yourself and maybe miss out on the greatest gift in life, which is love? Because someone has told you, oh, the races shouldn't mix. That person shouldn't be with that person. Whether you're gay or straight or trans or whatever, don't limit yourself. Again, it's okay to have a preference, but don't judge a book by its cover. I know that's so old and played out and cliche, but it's so true. And I'm not going to lie, that really hurt. But it's not the first time I heard it, and unfortunately, it won't be the last. But you know what? It doesn't stop me. I have my preferences, but I would never let my prejudice and my fear and bigotry stop me from being friends with someone or possibly finding the love of my life because of what other people say. I don't put that much stock in other people's opinions. I live my life to please myself and to please my maker. That's it. And I think that's the way we should all strive to be. And it's not just romantic relationships, it's friendships. Honestly, there really is no difference. I can't tell you how many stereotypes I've been told. And because I'm just a natural, friendly person and talkative person, I meet people of different religions, different sexual orientations, different races. And I talk to them, and we're all the same. We all want the same things. We all have similar interests. It's silly to limit yourself. So if you want to love someone, go for it. People may talk. We're never going to please everybody. But as long as you're okay with it, and the person you're dating is okay with it, that's all that matters. In a relationship, it's two people. And yes, your family may not agree. They may never come around. But if they really see you happy and they still let their prejudice get in the way, maybe you don't need those people around. And it may be your mother, it may be your father, it may be your children. But love trumps hate. And forgive the word Trump. But love conquers all. It's colorblind. Would it be so bad if we were colorblind either? Or two, rather. So even though I'm not talking about what I planned on talking about today, this was something that was close to my heart, something I could relate to physically, emotionally, spiritually. I sometimes wonder if I would feel different if I were all white or all black. But I can't see from that side. I'm a mixture. I'm loving. I'm fair. That's what we should strive to be, is fair. Just be fair. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't limit yourself. Life's too short. I didn't mean to go on a ramble, but that's what was on my thoughts today, or in my thoughts today. I'm sorry I can't speak. I hope this video finds you well. I hope I didn't offend anyone or ruffle any feathers. Again, I'm just trying to speak my truth. So I hope this video finds you well, like I always say. And until I talk to you next time, take care. Bye. Let love rule.